Los Angeles, California, on a Sunday morning in June. This is Lawrence A. Crawford, registered in a Los Angeles hotel as a traveling salesman. Behind the strange slaying of Lawrence Crawford are the subject of tonight's story on Crusader, starring Brian Keith.
My name's Matt Anders. I'm a freelance magazine writer. I'd been in San Francisco doing a story for the Americana Productions when Leo Gordon, the editor, yanked me from the assignment with a phone call from New York. He said he wanted me to work on something else in Los Angeles. My only instructions were to report to Suite 706, Barton Hotel, immediately on arrival. It was almost 3 when I reached the Barton. Suite 706 was registered to Walter Cronin, counsel for the Federal Crime Commission. That explained Gordon's reluctance to tell me what the assignment was about. If you're gonna breathe, you might as well talk.
Could you recognize him?
Nope. He had about 200 pounds on him. Wasn't fat either.
Do you know why you were sent here?
Nope.
A man named Crawford was killed here Sunday in the Griffith Park recreation area. Crawford was one of our agents. This was his room.
That explained the prowler?
And whoever he is, he went through here once before, the day Crawford was killed.
Whatever he wants must still be here.
I've had the place turned upside down. Nothing.
What was Crawford working on?
His weekly report to Washington last Friday said that he had run into a possible blackmail operation. That's all we have to go on. Oh, except this. Ever write for one of those?
No, I never got quite that hungry. Is Crawford the kind of guy that buys this junk?
No. But he did. Last Saturday at the newsstand in the lobby. He also asked the vendor where he might get copies of all back issues since the magazine began publication.
You giving me this story?
No. I need you, Anders. I need a qualified writer to do a job for the commission as a special agent. Now, before you say no, hear me out. Look, if I assigned a regular staff man, he'd be dead the minute we ask him to write a story. I can't write it because they know me. You've stuck your neck out getting materials before. Help us with this, and afterward the story is yours, exclusively.
What do you want me to do?
Well, if you can, get a job on Shock. If you can't, I don't know.
And Crawford's buying this magazine could just be a coincidence.
Not one who's looking for blackmail. Any one of those articles might be printed because the victim couldn't or wouldn't pay off.
No.
Why not?
Well, because if there's a shakedown, it's being worked on people whose names aren't printed. I wish I knew what that guy wanted.
All we have is Crawford's clothes and some papers. I have the papers if you want to see them.
Thanks. I couldn't find a lead in Crawford's papers. There were hotel and taxi receipts for his expense account, plus bills for a few personal items like golf balls, monogrammed stationery, and a receipt from a small contribution to a charity. The prowler had missed the briefcase, but he hadn't missed much.
You got a place to stay?
4th floor.
Be careful.
Good night.
Night.
Late plane?
Yo. You too?
Poker game.
Oh. You win?
No, I took a beating.
It's too bad.
Well, there'll be other nights. It's going to be continued.
Well, good luck.
4, please.
Well, use this on the cover.
Too bad Kramer didn't send in photos on that St. Louis case.
The Newman thing? I'm not printing it.
Why not? Newman's broke.
He's still got political connections. Might be willing to trade to keep himself covered. What do you want? Speak up and get out.
Well, I'm looking for a job. I'm a writer.
Well, well. Look who's here.
You know him?
Yeah. I know him. Don't I, Anders?
I wonder what rock you were hiding under.
I took up writing. Like you.
What name are you using now? Still Jack Gilliam? Last time I saw you, you were a vice cop back east. They had you up for taking bribes from a narcotics peddler, right?
I put 3 years in a pen on account of you, mister.
You're going to put in life or worse before you get through.
What do you want here?
I just want to see what kind of a book you're running. Now, I know.
All right, Anders. Get out of here.
Remember, mister, everybody has something they don't want to see in print. Don't let me get too interested in you.
Why not? I'm interested in you.
Who is that? Another investigator. Follow him. Don't let him get out of your sight.
I was going to remain unemployed as far as Shock magazine was concerned, but I didn't come away with nothing. The large envelope in the mail indicated that Shock's printing was handled by the Fanning Press. I had seen the same name on a receipt just a few hours before, along with one from Daniel Sporting Goods. Both had been in Crawford's papers.
Here they are. Yeah, there's a connection, all right.
How long was Crawford in L.A. before he was killed?
2 weeks.
All 3 of those receipts have got the same date on them, June 3rd. That's a Friday before he was killed, right? Man usually throws away that kind of receipt, doesn't he?
The contribution was made by...
Oh, yeah, the Portman Foundation for Handicapped Children.
Well, that's a legitimate charity. The receipt is tax deductible.
The stationery isn't. You ever hear of anybody named Kip Fanning?
Football player by that name, wasn't it?
Sure was. He had 3 pro records in the All-American League. I should have known that face was familiar.
You saw him at the shock office?
No, I saw him right here in the hotel last night. I wasn't sure then, but I should have been when he hit me. He was all head and shoulders.
What could he be after?
Crawford bought stationery, didn't he? Did you find it here?
No.
Well, if Fanning came and got that the first time and the receipt wasn't with it, he'd have to come back for it, wouldn't he? Mr. Kip Fanning, please. Oh. Well, you know when he'll be back? No, just tell him I called. Crawford. Lawrence A. Crawford. Thank you. It's his company, all right. Only Mr. Fanning's on his vacation. He left for Honolulu on Monday.
The day after Crawford was killed, eh?
Well, he's got a home. We came up with 2 addresses for Kip Fanning. The Beverly Hills house was closed, but there was a summer home in Santa Barbara. I got a car from a rental agency. The Fanning place was in an exclusive section just south of town.
I advised you to fight Benedict when he first started to pressure you, Kip.
You advised me. Why didn't you fight, Doctor?
Because I have the foundation to think of. If he destroys me, he destroys that too.
What do you think a scandal will do to my children? Should I see them grow up in disgrace because of something that happened when their mother was a child? Something she couldn't help? If it hadn't been for you, he might have let Myra alone.
Kip.
He's right, Myra. You couldn't help what happened. I could have.
You've more than paid for what you've done.
Benedict doesn't think so. Did you say goodnight to the children for me? I just wanted to let you know how things stand, Kip. I'd better go back to the city.
Wait. I'm sorry, Doctor.
It's all right.
Who knows we're here?
Nobody. Who is it?
It's the man I hit at the hotel.
But how could he know where we live?
You'll have to answer it.
Mrs. Fanning?
Yes. Excuse me a moment, please.
Shirley.
Good night, Doctor. Thank you.
Be sure to give them the medication regularly. Good night.
You got your bag, Doctor?
I didn't bring one.
I wondered if I could have a word with your husband, Mrs. Fanning.
He's away in Honolulu.
Oh, that's too bad. A friend of his told me I might find him here, Mr. Benedict. Les Benedict, Shock Magazine.
Mr. Benedict must have been misinformed.
Well, just tell your husband I was here, will you?
As soon as he gets back.
Thank you. My name's Crawford, Lawrence A. Crawford. Good night. Friend just left.
I was firing at him, not you. Who was it?
You tell me. Dr. Portman?
No.
Who then? Who does the killing, Daniels or Gillian?
I don't know anybody named Daniels.
How about Gilliam? You don't know him either, huh? You ought to spend less time in Honolulu and get to know people. I'll keep this.
Wow, Mr. Anders, just in time for a drink.
It's real nice to see the three of you all together. Where's Portman? Wasn't he invited?
You ask a lot of questions. I'm going to get you some answers. Unless you have a charge to make, I think it's time you learned a little bit about the law. Hello? 706, please. Hello, Mr. Cronin. This is Les Benedict, editor of Shock magazine. I'm having a little trouble with a man of yours. He just broke into my office forcibly and embarrassed me in front of a new advertiser. Furthermore, he has no warrant. I could call the police and have him arrested, of course, but I thought perhaps if you'd talk to him. Just a moment.
Hello, Cronin. Look, this guy's no advertiser. He's Daniels from the sporting goods store.
Drop it, Anders.
What?
You heard me. I said drop it.
Hello.
Well, Mr. Daniels, now we can get back to that ad copy.
I'll be back.
Calm down.
When your own men gets killed, the same outfit wants to make a clay pigeon out of me, and now you want to pull back. What for?
Do you know who fired at you?
No, it's too dark. I'll find out.
With your fists and the gun, or with evidence that I can bring into a court?
Dr. Portman was at the Fannings. He tried to make it look like a medical call. Does that mean anything to you?
Mm-mm. It doesn't convict them of murdering Crawford.
Well, maybe it will when we find out how and why they're connected.
That won't be easy.
All right, you take the credit bureaus, the clipping services. I'll take the newspaper morgues and the hall of records.
Suppose we don't find anything.
I think we will. Everybody's got something behind them they don't want to see in print. Benedict said that. There was nothing in the L.A. files on Benedict and Daniels except certificates for doing business. Benedict had come to L.A. from Kansas City. Daniels, like Gilliam, came from Chicago. I called the newspaper contacts in both cities. They came up with some interesting bits of information. It took me the better part of a day before I could get back to Cronin.
Thank you. I got a credit bureau rating on the Fanning press. Rated at $1 million when Fanning first inherited it from his family. Now they have to pay for everything COD.
Well, that fits.
Oh, they're printing a magazine with an awful big circulation.
They're printing it at a loss if Benedict's blackmailing him.
With what? Fanning's been a football hero since high school. Good family, excellent war record.
How about Mrs. Fanning?
Raised in an orphanage since she was 10. Came out here at 18, night school, secretarial work. Met Fanning and married him.
Where'd she come out here from?
Kansas City.
You know, Les Benedict's from Kansas City. Used to be a reporter out there years ago.
That's also where Dr. Portman started. Graduated Kansas City School of Medicine 19 years ago.
Well, that's the common denominator we've been looking for.
Just coming from the same city? Remember, Mrs. Fanning was only 10 years old then.
Still the key. I found out what makes Daniels tick. He killed his wife in Chicago 2 years ago.
When they let him go?
Jury came in with a verdict of accidental death. He had a sporting goods store out there, too. He was showing a customer how to load a gun in the store one day and went off.
Oh. He had the customer for a witness, huh?
The customer was Jack Gilliam.
Do you think Daniels killed Crawford?
Well, in his line, he could be an expert with a bow and arrow. Besides, Gilliam's got one murder on him. What's he got to lose now?
And that's what a doctor like Portman is protecting.
Portman could be a victim, same as Fanning.
We've got to pressure one of them to talk. Which one?
One that's closest to cracking up. Myra Fanning. Another professional call, Doctor?
This time, yes. Won't you come in?
Thanks. Where's Fanning?
Upstairs with his wife. I just gave her a sedative. Which of you is Mr. Cronin?
I am.
I was going to call at your hotel when I got back to the city. This is a copy of a letter I mailed this afternoon, resigning as head of the Portman Foundation.
Why, Doctor?
20 years ago, I removed a bullet from a fugitive. He gave me $1,000, told me not to report it to the police. I needed money desperately at the time for my clinic. The man I treated was Myra Fanning's father. Myra was present at the time, and so was her mother. They were trying to get to the border, Mexico. Shortly after they left me, they ran into a roadblock. The car went over an embankment. Both parents were killed. Myra was brought into the hospital, unconscious. I knew that she'd be able to identify me. The police were waiting to question her. So were reporters. I was alone with her when she came to. She put out her hand and touched my face, and she said, "You helped my daddy when he was hurt." Then she passed out again. But she never told them. But the hospital room was on the ground floor. The reporters were waiting outside. Benedict was one of the reporters. He was standing just outside the window.
But you never printed it, huh?
No. What glory could he get from ruining a struggling, unknown doctor? No, he waited until he could use me. Until I was worth blackmailing.
What about the Fannings?
Fanning played a charity game for the foundation. There was a reception afterwards, and he brought Myra with him. Benedict was standing beside me when Myra told Fanning about my having saved her life. Benedict remembered her. Shock magazine started 3 months later. Benedict had everything he needed. My money and Fanning's press.
Why did Fanning give in to him?
Because he's got a wife and 2 kids that he loves. That's what Benedict trades on.
Not anymore, he won't.
Fanning!
Where are you going?
After Benedict. You get out a police pickup for Daniels. I'll go after him.
Who's that?
Daniels, stop being so jumpy and let him in. What do you want here, Fanning?
Dr. Portman resigned today.
That still doesn't let your wife off the hook.
He told Cronin everything. Now you can print what you know about us. But before you do, I'm paying you off.
Come for me, Gilliam. I told you never to let that happen.
Did you kill Crawford?
Yes. Gilliam. Benedict. They made me do it.
He's lying. He's a murderer. He's killed before.
He's paid for it. Looks like everybody has except you. Want this?
No, thanks. But I want to see you again. Look me up in New York or Washington.
It's funny, you know, you spend your whole life believing in the freedom of the press, and something like this comes along, makes you wonder, doesn't it?
You don't mean that.
No, I just wish there was some way to put them out of business, that's all.
There is, if the people want it. All they have to do is stop buying it.